Alright guys, this video goes with your 13th C&D notes, which will address the Renaissance. Alright, and Renaissance means rebirth. And when we say rebirth, we are referring to the rebirth of what exactly? Well, the answer to that is the rebirth of classical Greco-Roman culture. This is hopefully a review for you, but just remember that during the Middle Ages, classical culture is lost to most of the population. This is the reason we call it Dark Ages. There's a loss of learning and literacy. Most of the people are too busy worrying about feudal obligations and their job in feudal society to have time to learn how to read, write, or worry about art and philosophy. During the Renaissance, Western Europeans are going to rediscover this lost learning of Greece and Rome, and it's quote-unquote lost because it was never truly lost. Remember, it's preserved in three places that you need to remember: Byzantine libraries, Islamic universities, and to a limited extent, Christian monasteries. The Renaissance in Italy is going to produce new ideas that are reflected in arts, philosophy, and literature. One term you need to know is a patron. A patron is wealthy from newly expanded trade, and what they're going to do is they're going to sponsor works which glorify the city-states of northern Italy as well as themselves. So if you remember, we have this trade fueling from the Middle East to Europe, this trade machine starting to pick up speed as we move away from the Crusades as a result of the Crusades. And because we have this trade, it's funneling through northern Italy on its way to Europe. We have these northern Italian bankers who are getting extremely rich. So these people are taking their money, and as a way to express how rich they are, they're going to start commissioning art. And that is where we get our patrons. Alright, now the thing to remember when you're looking at the two art forms is medieval art and literature focus on the church and on salvation. Okay, so primarily all the art is meant to be part of the church, or to glorify the church and focus on salvation. Renaissance art and literature is going to focus on the individual and worldly matters. It's a lot more secular. There are some Christian themes to Renaissance art, but it's going to be a lot more secular. So let's play a little game here. We're going to play Renaissance or medieval. Alright, this is very religious. You'll see halo here. That would make it medieval. Here we have, again, medieval. Okay, among the reasons you'll see is we have halos around our angels and saints. And a lot of times when you see medieval art, you'll see Jesus just portrayed as a small person when you're talking about baby Jesus, not actually portrayed as a baby. Alright, again, another case of medieval. Again, you've got your halos. Alright, and again, little person Jesus. And this is again medieval, halos, focus on religion. Now this is going to be Renaissance. And the reason it's Renaissance, guys, it's a rich man's daughter. There's nothing religious about this painting. This is just some random dude's daughter. Okay? No religious themes whatsoever. Now a rich man's wife. Again, Renaissance. Same idea. Self-portrait of an artist is Renaissance. No religious theme. He's just painting himself. Now the Holy Family here, well, now this has a religious theme. You have to pay attention and focus in on some of the ideas to it. It's Renaissance. We've got no halos. Note that baby Jesus here is drawn as a baby. And then something that we're going to talk about here is called this idea of humanism, where during the Renaissance we're going to portray the human form in its ideal version. Okay, as you can see, Joseph here is strong. Mary with the well-defined muscles is a beautiful woman in this painting, alright? And this is another example of the Holy Family, Mary and Jesus. And again, this is going to be Renaissance. While it is a religious-themed painting, again, you've got a very beautiful Mary, a very beautiful baby Jesus, who's drawn as a baby, alright? So now, some prominent Italian Renaissance artists and writers for you. You've got Leonardo da Vinci. Alright, Da Vinci is responsible for painting the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Your second person you have to know is another Ninja Turtle, Michelangelo. Donatello and Raphael are also Renaissance painters. You're not required by the state of Virginia to know them right now, though. So you've got Michelangelo. Michelangelo is going to paint the inside of the Sistine Chapel. Some pictures here. And again, we've got the most famous image from the roof of the Sistine Chapel, God reaching out to touch Adam. Now, I'm going to draw your attention to Adam here. While this is a religious-themed painting, guys, Adam is jacked. Look at the pecs, look at the traps, look at the biceps on him. Do we know that Adam was absolutely ripped like a Greek Adonis? No, we don't know that. This is the way they painted during the Renaissance. Even God here has some well-defined arms. Like, he's been doing some curls very seriously here. Now, he might have been curling the world in 6 days to put it together, but you get the idea. All right, they're drawing human form in its ideal manner. All right, and the second thing you need to know from Michelangelo is the statue of David. All right, and this is David of David and Goliath fame. And again, I want you guys to go ahead and pay attention to and notice how strong and cut he is. All right, he is muscular. Okay, it's beauty. Third Renaissance artist that you need to know is Petrarch. Petrarch produces sonnets, which are love poems, and humanist scholarship. So he's more of a writer than he is an artist. So classical knowledge of the ancient Greeks and Romans are going to foster humanism in the Italian Renaissance. And humanism is a little bit of a focus on the beauty that is the human form. They're going to focus on it. So they're not necessarily glorifying God, but they're glorifying God in such a way that they're drawing how beautiful the human form can be, or portraying it. Alright, so humanism is going to celebrate the individual. It's going to stimulate the study of Greek and Roman culture, and it's going to be supported by wealthy patrons. So humanism is the main theme of the Renaissance during this time period when you're looking at it artistically. And then, as we said before, a patron is someone who has wealth and is going to financially support an artist, philosopher, and musician, allowing them to dedicate their life to perfecting their art. Okay, eventually the Renaissance is not just going to stay in Italy, it's going to spread to the rest of Europe along trade routes. We have some diffusion here. And the ideas of the Italian Renaissance are going to change a little bit as they become adopted in Northern Europe. So we're going to have growing wealth in Northern Europe supporting Renaissance ideas. We're also going to have Northern Renaissance thinkers merging humanist ideas with Christianity. So the Northern Renaissance is going to be a little bit more Christian in theme, but we're still going to have humanist ideas. One of the biggest developments of the Northern Renaissance and of the Renaissance time period at all is the movable type printing press and the production and sale of books, which are going to help to disseminate the ideas. Johann Gutenberg is going to develop the printing press. Until this point in time, if I wanted a copy of the Bible, I had to pay somebody who was literate, which weren't many people, a lot of money to handwrite me a copy. And hopefully, A, I could read, and hopefully, B, the handwriting of the person that I chose was legible. With the printing press, we're able to start producing copies of books more efficiently and more quickly. So we're going to have a spread of literacy. Okay, literacy is going to go up. We're going to lead initially to a lot of Bibles being printed, but eventually we're going to have other works being printed as well. An example of what the printing press looked like, and a picture of Gutenberg himself. And some of these pieces of work that are going to spread are Erasmus's The Praise of Folly in 1511, and Sir Thomas More's Utopia in 1516. And the last little bit, guys, is just remember that Northern Renaissance artists portrayed religious and secular subjects at the same time. So they're going to roll them together, all right? As you can see, and there we go. And that's it.